Good day, everyone. Welcome back to another series on Google Drive. We are going to be considering how to design a Google form. I still remember my humble self, Carolino Benedict. So let's move on. Now, for a mobile device, usually you may not have a Google form when you consider using your new tool on your Google Drive. Simply go to your Chrome or your desirable browser and click to search, and then you type forms.google.com. Alright, so you can send. Alright, so you select, or you just simply click on the first item and then click on it. So it should take you to the Google form page, as you can see. So right here you are now going to design your form the way you want it. The items, the data you intend to collect from your participant or respondent is what you can now continue to key in. So let's start with computing in a title. All right, so we have to title the form. So let's say event registration. All right, okay. So then if you click on this order segment, it will automatically repeat what we just typed in the title of the form. So let's do that and see what happens. Yes, you can see. All right, now we can give our form a description of what we intend to do. Okay, let's say this form is designed to collect data for the purpose of registration for the upcoming event. All right, okay, so we have done that. Okay, so when you are working on a particular section, okay, for instance, you can decide to add a photo. All right, you can decide to add a photo by clicking here on an image, or you can decide to also add a video clip. If you're done with this particular session and you want to continue on another session, you could also use this particular icon below here for a new section. And if you want to continue on that same session, but peradventure you want a new line or possibly a new segment, all right, then you use the plus and the circle to continue on that. All right, so let's move on. So here we have given our form a title, we've given our form a description as well. So let's start with the first. Remember, this is a registration form, so let's say we want to start with what is your name. Let's say let's say name. All right, now since it's a name, we can decide to choose whether we want a short answer or the likes, but now it's a name, so it's a short answer. If it's something different, we'll come to that anyway. You could also use this particular icon to give you different options, okay, whether it could be a short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, checkbox, and the likes, as it is indicated here. All right, so that is for name. Now we can also make the form to make that particular segment to be required. So if we want it to be required, then we'll check this button and it will be required. For instance, you just click on it and it will be checked or asterisk as required. All right, so we're done with that segment. So let's move to the next segment. We're going to use our plus here click on it, and then to bring another segment. Okay, so this is the second segment. So this one, let's say call it gender. Okay, all right, now since it's gender, we may need to write some options. So let's go to multiple choice. Okay, so multiple choice is fine. So let's go to option 1. We'll have let's say we have male. Okay, option 2, we have female. Okay, then we can add another option. You can just say prefer not to say. All right, and don't forget, in each of the options you can decide to add image, okay, as it is showing, and you can decide to cancel the option by just clicking the X. All right, so that's for that particular segment. So let's add another segment, so we can also make it to be required. All right, just as we've done for the other one. Let's click on the name, okay, to see if it is required. All right, okay, so let's click on the last so we can be able to add the segment. Now, one thing you should know is that whichever segment you are working on, when you click on the plus, it will add another segment just immediately below that one. So if you want to add as a continuation from the same section, always click on the last segment before you click on the plus. All right, so I'm going to click on the last one, so click with our plus to add a segment to it. Okay, so the next one, let's say we want to look at age as at last birthday. All right, so this one we will just make it a short answer, so we'll leave it at short answer. All right, so let's go to required. Okay, it's required. So let's talk about okay, let's say the next one, location. So click on plus. So let's say location. Okay, you can just make it short answer. Yeah, so since it's location, they should fill in their location. All right, and then we may also make it required. All right, so the next one we can also look at another segment, okay, of the question. And oh, now something just happened. That's one thing you should take note of. When you are scrolling through your phone, especially as you're using a mobile, you should know that if you click and hold any segment and you drag, it will take it to anywhere you drop it is where it is. So it can replace, it can be taken above another segment or below another segment. So you just have to mind the way you click on the segment and drag. So this particular one has been shifted up, so I want to move it downward. Okay, so I'll move it downward to where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the last. Okay, so when you want to click and move it, just make sure you hold on this particular segment or anywhere outside the type area. All right, so I'm going to move it down again. Click and hold, and then you move it down. All right, so it is now at the last segment. So what other thing do we want to get from them? Let's say we want to ask a question. Will you be attending the event with someone? Okay, full stop. So we just need a yes or a no. You can see there is already a suggestion, okay, to that we can just click on. So just click on the suggestion and it will give you what you want, no, and maybe. All right, so may have a yes, a no, or maybe. Maybe they are not deciding, then make it a required. And then we can now ask the last question, possibly. Just say, in a few sentences, okay, what could be your expectations from the upcoming events? So we can just put it like, okay, we can leave it. One thing with Google Form is that while you're typing, it is designed in a way that it will already be giving you the nature of the question or the nature of the form, and then give you options or suggestions to whether it is going to be a paragraph, short answer text, or possibly it's going to be maybe multiple choice, or maybe on a scale, or point values and the likes. Now you can look at trying to limit the paragraph text, okay, to number or to a range of words. Let's say, for instance, you just click on this particular 3 dots attached to that particular segment. Okay, so when you click on it, it gives you options. So you can look at response validation, all right, or description. So let's look at response validation. All right, so you can now look at length of words. Okay, maybe you want to make maybe a regular expression, you can leave it at that. But now if you want to length of words, minimum character count, so you can just type in, or maximum character count. In this case, let's take it maximum. So we can now look at the number of maximum character we will expect. Let's say 1,000 characters is the maximum. Okay, then we can now make it a required. All right, so we can make it required, and that is it. Now we have finished setting up or designing our form. All right, like I've said earlier, there are so many things you can do to this particular form. Okay, so now let's look at how we can do more settings to our form. Now you see there's a setting here. All right, so you can simply utilize that, click on the setting, and it takes you to a different page where you can do a lot of settings to your form. Now you can see the first one here is saying you want to make the form a quiz. If you want to do that, then you check it. By the time you check it, then it will assign points, okay, set answers, and then automatically provide feedback as well. So you can equally change the form to a quiz. Then again, you want to look at the responses. So you can manage how responses are collected and protected. How? Let's look at it. So click on it, and then you can see, okay, so you can make the form to collect email, or it will not collect email. So if I want the form to collect email, then I should check it and said, okay, verify. So if I click on verify, it means every responder must sign into Gmail, into Google, before they can be able to respond to the form. And if I want it to be a responder input, it means they can access the form and then they will put in their email. So which means they may not necessarily sign into Google, but they will put in their email and then impute it as manual, and that's all. Then again, you can also send a copy of the form or the response to the responder. So which means that is when email is required. So if email is collected automatically, then you can send a feedback and just check it and check on this particular one. If you have said verification, if you have clicked on verified, then you check this one, and then it will give the responder a feedback when they request for it. Okay, from their end they will see for the request, or automatically the moment they finish response, they should be able to have a feedback. So that's another settings on that aspect. Then again, but let's go back to this and click on do not collect email. Now the next thing we want to look at is you can also allow response editing. Now when they are finished and they have submitted, you can, if you check this, it will allow them to be able to come back and edit what they have submitted, and then they will be able to resubmit. But if you uncheck, it means they cannot edit what they have submitted. Then again, you can limit it to one response, which means one response per email. That is when the email is being collected. So which means if I check this now, it means it will limit them to only one response. But when they are not required to sign into Google, they can be able to submit another response after they have submitted the previous or the first. Okay, presentation, manage how the form and responses are presented. Yes, if you check that, you could see, show progress by. Yes, if you check this, it will be telling the respondent to show the respondent, okay, the progresses they've made, the sections they are covered and the likes. Then again, if it is a quiz, you can decide to shuffle the question. Maybe you want different respondents to or different persons to answer the questions. Then after submission, okay, there could be a confirmatory message or mail message that appears at the end of the filling of the form when they submit. So you can equally edit that and say, okay, your responses have been, let's say your responses has been recorded. Okay, thank you for your time. Okay, so this is what will appear. So you click on save. So you save it. So it means anybody who responds to this particular form, this is what they will have or they will see at the end of the filling. So when they submit, they will see this. Then again, you can decide to show link to submit another response. Okay, so that means if you uncheck this, they can't submit another response. But if you check that, they can be able to submit another response. So if you want to share results summary with respondents, then you could also check this. Okay, so that will be able to give them a summary of what they have filled. All right. Then again, another thing you will need to know again is that you can also disable autosave for all respondents. Okay, but that will make respondents to lose data, maybe for instance they were filling, suddenly their network ceased or phone went off or browser closes. By the time they come back, whatever they fill will be lost. But if you uncheck this, it will auto save what the progress has been. All right, the next one is the form defaults. Okay, now what's in that? So if you want the form to automatically collect email address by default, so you just click on verified and then it will automatically collect email address. If you want the form to automatically request them to put in their mail, then you click on responder input, so to provide a space for them to be able to put in their emails. And again, look at question default. Now if you want questions to be required by default, you just check this. Means every question in all the segments or sections will be required by default. So but let's uncheck this because we have done that manually to all the forms. So these are the settings you can be able to navigate. So let's move on to responses. Now in the responses sections, you can see 0 responses. That's because we've not published the form, we've not sent the link to anyone. So you'll see 0 responses. And when you have published and respondents have started responding to it, then when you click on these 3 dots, you should be able to navigate to see what you can do with the responses. So you can see you can select a destination for your responses. All right, then you can click on this to get email notifications for any response, which means if you check that and you activate it, anybody who responds to the form you will be notified via email account connected or for which you built this form. All right, then again, when we have published the form and there's responses, this other particular options will be clearer, and you can be able to either unlink the form, or you download the responses by CSV, or you print the responses, or you can delete the responses. Maybe you have captured the responses and you want to use the same form, you don't want to make a copy, or you just want to use the same form to collect other responses from other places, then you could now delete all the other responses, and then you can now resend the link to the form to other respondents, and then you collect a fresh data. Okay, so let's move on. The next thing we'll look at is how to publish it. So but then before then, let's look at this particular icon and see what's in there. So here you look at different things you can do to the form as well. So you can make a copy of the form, or you can either start the form to make it as a matter of importance. Okay, you can preview the form, yes, to see what the form looks like and appearance. Then again, you can also move the form to another folder. Of course, the form as it is created automatically goes into my drive as a folder. So you can now move the form to a specific folder. You can equally delete the form and move it to trash. All right, then you can either preview, all right, to see how it looks like, and then you can embed your HTML. Then again, you can also print the form, okay, paper, or when you click on the printing option, most likely you can be able to also save it as a PDF and the likes. Then there are other things you can be able to do with the form. All right, now I want to change the theme or the color of the form. Fine, I use this particular icon and then to navigate that process. So let's click on it. All right, you can see these are the things I want to do to the form. So I can decide to change the header, the font. You can choose a different font or varieties, okay, as you want. You can decide to choose the sizes, okay, to change to your choice, okay. Then you can look at the question, change the font size, the fonts rather, maybe to Laura, anyone. Then you can also change the size, maybe you want it to 13 or 14, whichever way you want. You can look at the text, you can change the font, what you want it to look like as well, and the sizes as well. Then you can choose an image for the header. If you want to choose an image, then you can click on it and you select an image from your files or your device. Again, another thing is to change the color. So let's see and change the color to, okay, to this, let's say to green. All right, so if you change the color to green, then the background color will most likely take this, any of this shape which you can choose. All right, so let's say I want this particular to be the background color and this to be the color. Then you will now have to click on apply. All right, so you can either apply or you cancel. Okay, but for now we want to apply the changes. So let's apply it. Good, you can see that our form has automatically changed in respect to the background color. You can see even the question here is now in a green. All right, so when you click on it, you also see that it will change accordingly. You can see everything has now been changed to green. So this, you can see that this particular font has changed its look. Okay, that's it. So let's move on to publishing our form. So when you want to publish the form, then you can now click on this particular icon. So let's say now you can see, so you can now click on publish for respondents to be able to access the form. So you can see anyone with a link, all right, will be able to respond. So we publish. Okay, our form has now been published. Now how do we get a link to send? So we can come to check this, which is an icon representing link. This particular icon is to undo any changes I've made or any change I've made to the form. I want to send the form, so we'll click on the icon link. So let's click on it. So you can see it has shown the link. So we can now shorten the URL so that it's not be too lengthy. All right, so we shorten it. You check the box to shorten it. You can see it has been shortened. So how do we copy? So you can copy the link. So if you click and long press on it, yeah, then you see you can now click on copy. All right, so let's copy. So we have copied, and then we can now be able to paste it anywhere or on any platform where your respondents are, for them to access the link and then be able to respond. So In summary, we have learned how to design a Google form, how to create different segments or different sections, and also how to modify the form, do some changes in respect to the color and the likes and everything, and how to share, okay, to move to another folder, and then to generate the link, and also to send. And this is it. Thank you. If you have any question, do well to drop your question or comment in the comment box, and we will see to it. And if this has also helped you, you can like, subscribe to our channel to have more seamless tutorial on basic things you need to know about Google Form, Google Workspaces, and the likes. Thank you. Bye bye.